Oh, DMT. Yeah, it's called dimethyltryptamine, and it lasts for about 5 minutes. It's the craziest drug ever. It's the most potent psychedelic known to man. Literally, but the craziest thing is about it is it's natural, and your brain produces it every night as you sleep. You know, when you sleep during the time you're in heavy REM sleep and right before human death, your brain pumps out heavy doses of dimethyltryptamine. You take this shit and literally you are transported into another fucking dimension. I don't mean like you feel like you're in another dimension. I mean like you're in another dimension. You're
With
in
furniture.
another dimension where there's no furniture, bro. There's fucking complex geometric patterns moving in synchronous order through the air all around you in three-dimensional space, and it's like they're arteries, except there's not blood pumping through them. There's fucking lights, pulsating lights with no boundaries, and you can't really understand it. And there's an alien communicating with me. And there's a dude who looks like sort of like a Thai Buddha, except he's made entirely of energy, and there's no like outline to him. He's just one thing, and he's concentrating on me, and he's trying to tell me not to give in to astonishment. Just relax and try to experience it. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking shitting me. It's a human neurotransmitter. It exists in every single one of us, and yet it's one of the most illegal substances in the world. It's more illegal than heroin. It's just as illegal. It is the most illegal substance you could possibly get. Yet it exists in almost every ecosystem. It's in grasses and animals. But there's 2 types of DMT. I've done one type of DUG, which is 5-methoxy dimethyltryptamine, which is DMT with an oxygen molecule attached to it. And then there's NN-DMT, which is the DMT that's excreted by your pineal gland. They're very similar in experience, except the 5-methoxy dimethyltryptamine doesn't give you the visual effects. And the heavier the psychedelic, the better. And guess what? No one's dying from psychedelics. All our thoughts on psychedelics are all based on bullshit propaganda that we heard about people, you know, going crazy or losing their minds on. You're not going to go crazy. You're going to go fucking sane. All right? All that stuff is going to remove your ego, and it's going to explain to you what the world is really all about.
People have asked me about DMT. Is it dangerous? And the real answer is only if you feel death by astonishment. You know, and you deliver that line and then people laugh, except the people who've done DMT don't laugh, because they understand, you know, death by astonishment is no remote possibility. Okay, hypothesis 1, DMT is not a drug. It is an extraterrestrial communication device. These are creatures somewhere in the universe who are so different from us that they come to us not in starships the size of Manhattan, but in drug molecules that are dinky. So we are in contact here with some kind of extraterrestrial technology, and these are true aliens of some sort. And God knows the weirdness of the situation supports the hypothesis. Okay, second hypothesis. There is a parallel universe, unsuspected by most human beings. It's right here all the time. It's inhabited. These things have their own hopes, fears, problems, so forth. And somehow this drug just erases this boundary, and then you find yourself in the elf nest. Next hypothesis. These things, because they have great affection for me, because they seem intent on the task of communicating, perhaps they are human beings from the distant future. Perhaps this is what we are fated to become. You know, there's always, since we were kids, the cliche, beings of pure energy. Well, it's always been a little hard to wrap your mind around what that would look like, but lo and behold, here appear to be creatures of pure energy. But there are a lot of problems with hypothesizing a future human technological breakthrough which would allow them to actually manipulate the past. Logical paradoxes and that sort of thing. Well, so then here's another possibility. They are human beings, but they are not in the future in the ordinary sense, or in the past. They are in the prenatal and post-life phase. In other words, these are either the unborn waiting in some limbo-like dimension to descend into matter, or they are in fact people who have had a sojourn in the domain of organic existence and now have moved on. Let me not kid you, we're talking about dead people here in that case. Well, if you go to the shamans who access these places through ayahuasca or the Varrola snuffs or something like that, they will say, well, these are ancestors. Didn't you read Merciliad? Don't you know that shamanism works through ancestor magic? Well, ancestor is a tremendously sanitized term for dead people. And if what is actually happening here is that the much argued about soul is actually made visible by this pharmacological strategy, I mean, God knows why, but God knows why anything else is the way it is, then this is truly big news. This is the confounding of rationalism. If what is happening is that by pushing the frontiers of pharmacology, we discover a way to even momentarily and temporarily erase the boundary between the living and the dead, then this is a 180-degree turn on the evolution of culture that not even the most technically infatuated among us are prepared to assimilate. And over time, I've sort of come to incline to the idea that this is what is in fact going on. And the reason it's so hard to bring anything out of the DMT flash is because at the center of the flash, you find out something so unexpected, so appalling, and so existentially convincing in the moment of confronting it that you simply immediately block it out and obliterate it.
You won't be able to absorb propaganda the way you do now. You won't be able to look at the news the way you do now. You won't be able to look at common cultural conditioning and predetermined patterns of behavior. None of that stuff will make sense. It's very difficult to go through life after you've gone through that experience.
Okay.
The way I describe it, it's like any intense psychedelic experience is like pressing Control-Alt-Delete on your brain.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. It's like your brain reboot. It should freak you out.
It does
but it freaks you out because you like to be in control.
Yeah.
But you're not in control. Eventually you're going to die. No one's in control. You're in control of your body for a short period of time, and you should experiment with it. You know, when you wake up from a dream, you can't remember it. Like, oh, it's a crazy dream, and it seems so real. And then 5 minutes later, you don't even know what the hell you were talking about.
Right.
You don't remember the dream. That's exactly what happens when you smoke DMT. When you take this drug, you have these insane visions, and then you could barely remember it just a few minutes later. And it's because your conscious brain is trying to protect you from this experience, because it's so mind-blowing. What it literally is, it's not scary, because it's exactly the same thing that happens to you when you die. But this is what happens to you when you die. I mean, this is the chemical that your brain produces. And it's produced by a part of your brain called the pineal gland. And literally, it's your third eye. It's literally in the center of your brain where the third eye is. And it actually, in reptiles, it has a retina and a cornea and a lens. And they've done all these scientific studies on it. They did a bunch of clinical trials at the University of New Mexico. They did a book on it called DMT, the Spirit Molecule. And what this is literally like a portal to the afterlife. It allows you to sneak a peek over there and come back. It's mind-blowing. What I describe it as, it's like complex geometric patterns that are made out of love. Like you go literally to another dimension. It's a clusterfuck, man. These poor fucking kids, man. Could you imagine being 18, 19, being talked into doing this shit for a bunch of bloodthirsty motherfuckers who just are trying to get whatever they're trying to get over there, whatever the fuck it is, whether it's lithium, you know, minerals in the mountains that they use to make cell phones, whether it's 90% plus of the world's opium supply, 90 fucking percent. That is a multi-billion-dollar business. And if you think these fucking industrialist cocksuckers that are running the world are going to leave that money behind, you're fucking crazy. Dude, they've got United States Army troops guarding Poppy Field. There's fucking so much heroin there. I mean, it's incredible. The fucking brother of the president of Afghanistan, his brother was selling heroin and getting paid by the CIA. I mean, god damn it. Heroin is absolutely addictive, okay?
People who try heroin get hooked. Heroin